Hello again, and welcome back, everybody, to the Rantin Review Entertainment. We are discussing the season finale, or the mid-season finale. Let's say it this way: The Walking Dead season 11, part 2 finale. That sounds a lot better. We're going to talk about it today, all the things that came up, where it kind of looks to me like the story is going for part 3 whenever that airs, and some of my reactions to some of the big things that happened in this episode. But before we get into that, I want to remind you guys that as always with all of my channels, I got a lot of free goodies down in the description box for you. If you want to get free stocks, you can get free stocks from Robinhood or Webull using the affiliate links down below. If you want to get some free crypto, you can get up to $500 worth of crypto between some of the links down below for Coinbase and Celsius. Check that out in the description box. And you can also get some points for the Chase Sapphire Reserve or Preferred card if you need a new line of credit. Check out the link in the description box below. But now let's talk about what happened with this just second of 3 finales in season 11 of The Walking Dead. So we see Hornsby, and he's looking, it looks like they've pretty much taken over Hilltop at this point, and we see all these locusts and a dead body and Hornsby looking up at the sky, and it doesn't look good for our crew. We then start the episode proper by going back 19 hours and an act of God earlier, which the act of God would be locust. Walking Dead's always good with this kind of symbolism, and the locust is, that's heralding pretty damaging things, biblically speaking. I think it was also pretty interesting, and they probably got the idea because last year in the Northeast and in the Southeast, we got cicadas. So I guess I live in Maryland, and we definitely got cicadas last year. So I think that's probably what they were like, oh, well, let's put this in the show. So they put it in the show. It was a good portents of what was to come and what is to come in part 3 of season 11. A lot of stuff is going on here. Let's start with the side stuff. So we got Eugene, Magna, who I forgot was on the show because she hasn't been on the show much this season. Magna, Max, Kelly, Connie, and then they bring in Ezekiel, and they're all doing this plan and this plot with Eugene and Max, using Max to kind of go in and find out some information that they need. Max does this. She's still kind of trepidatious about doing this, but she does get involved. She does go and kind of lead Pamela Milton away to some business meeting so she can go snoop through the files. Unfortunately, Sebastian comes in, and he, being Sebastian, causes havoc, and Max winds up dropping the envelope that she's got, and they're kind of tugging over it because he's trying to help, because I think he knows that she's snooping and he's trying to find out what she's doing. And you get that shot where it looks like he can see what's going on, and then he looks back up at her and he's like, and then he kind of leaves after pestering her about seeing his mother. But Sebastian, I guess he's going to use this information to curry favor with his mother, because that's what he does. From all this information that Max gives, Kelly and Connie then find out that they can now reveal that there's a lot of people who are missing, have gone missing in the Commonwealth, and that there's something big there. There was a nice little scene, too, about kind of the elitist nature of Pamela Milton when Max talks to her about some surplus money that they have, and she's all happy about it until Max says, well, we can make a scholarship for some of the less privileged people. And Pamela Milton's face just, she goes like, it dropped like any politician would drop, like, oh, we got extra money. We're not going to put it in my pocket. You want to give it to the poor people? We have a party coming up. She literally said that they have a party. It's their biggest event of the year. We need the money for the party. That is when you know somebody's priorities are way out of whack. This leads to the big conclusion that we see the montage at the end, and part of that montage is Pamela Milton coming in and showing the newspaper that exposes what's going on with the Miltons in the Commonwealth, and she is not happy about it at all. So that's going to be the big crux of most of part 3 of season 11. But other things were going on as well. Lydia and a little bit of the Whisperer stuff is still resonating in the Walking Dead universe, as Lydia is hiding Negan and all of his people in an old Whisperer hideout, which I thought was pretty cool that they tied that in there. And there's a reason for Lydia to be around, outside of her burgeoning love affair, of course. But they have a real problem here, because we left the last episode with Hornsby completely going on the warpath, or wanting to go on a warpath, and enlisting Leah. Leah then agrees that she's going to be an assassin for him. She goes in. There's a lot of other war games here, a little gamesmanship between Maggie and Leah, and between Maggie and Hornsby, as Some things that they set up are traps that lead to other traps, and it's really good. Meanwhile, we got Gabriel and Aaron and Daryl, who are still pretending that they're part of the Commonwealth, but everybody knows everybody's lying here. And they're leading these Commonwealth soldiers out to check all these houses to look for the weapons, even though we already know that Hornsby by now knows that Leah had the weapons. And all that's resolved. This is really just an ambush set up for our crew. Of course, Daryl and Gabriel and Aaron are smart as hell, and they sniff out this ambush. And then the fight ensues. They take out most of the Commonwealth soldiers and find out where Hornsby actually is. That lets them know that Hornsby is now setting up to make a big move. And he's talking about taking them all, which we wouldn't find out what that actually meant until the very end of the episode. But this leads to a big battle in the woods between Maggie and Leah. Leah does get the upper hand and winds up taking Maggie back to what I think is their cabin, her old cabin that she lived in with Daryl. They have a big confrontation. Maggie's talking about, look, we didn't choose this. You killed my people, then I killed your people because I wanted to, and now you want to kill me for killing your people. And it's not nature, it's not fate, it's not God, it's us. And that was the whole thing and the thematic resolution to the story about Leah and the Reapers. Maggie, of course, gets out of her confines. Her and Leah have another fight, and Maggie has adopted Rick's strategy of getting in a fight with a leader of another group and getting her butt kicked just like Rick used to, and then should be killed, should lose the fight, but something happens at the end. In this case, Maggie's about to be stabbed through the heart by Leah, and Daryl cold-bloodedly shoots Leah through the back of the head and kills her. In fact, Leah died not even knowing that it was Daryl that did it. There was no big moment, there was no desperate gaze, there was none of them remembering their past. It was just through the back of the head and she was done. And that was it for Leah. I will say this. I thought they were going to do a little bit more of Leah, but they didn't. It now makes that... this is what I worry about the original stories that the writers of the show are making up, that maybe they don't have the same kind of thought out resonance that some of the stuff they're adapting from the comics has had. They've done it in the past, but I'm not so sure. Leah's story kind of seems to fall flat now. I was waiting for it to have some sort of larger resolution to it, but at the end of the day, it seems like it was just invented to have something else to do during season 11. So after saving Maggie, the Commonwealth shows up. They start shooting at the house. Daryl fires back, does catch Hornsby. Hornsby gets hit a little bit across the cheek. Got a little blood on him. I like to see that. But our crew now knows that they've now got to go away because Hornsby has a lot of troops and things are about to get nasty. Also through this, Negan and Maggie start to, the ice is slowly melting with them. Maggie says she doesn't, she can trust Negan to be an ally. She's never going to forget what happened, obviously, with Glenn. She's never going to really fully forgive him for that, but she can trust him when they have a common enemy. Not so much for Herschel, though, who really, really does not. We still see Herschel does not want anything to do with Negan. I think a lot of theories that a lot of fans have that Negan might wind up meeting his end at the hands of Herschel, whether it's a young Herschel or we do a flash forward where Herschel meets up with Negan and shoots him through the head or something like that. I think that is a possibility, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But Negan's crew and Maggie's crew, they're all safe, but now they're on the run because during that montage that happens at the end of the episode, we see that the Commonwealth is taking over all the communities. They put a flag over Alexandria, they put a flag over Hilltop, and they even took Oceanside, had all the Oceanside women in handcuffs with freaking Two-Face over here, literally Two-Face over here, with Hornsby flipping a coin to decide their fate as he's taking over the communities, and now things are really going to get desperate. So as far as mid-season finales is concerned, this is one that's far better than the part one season finale, mid-season finale, which was not good at all. This was a much better mid-season finale, and it sets up where we're going in the final act 3, the big ultimate climax to this whole thing, which it appears now, which is very different from the comic books. The Commonwealth have now taken over all the communities, and for one last time, we're not just fighting, our crew is not just fighting for Alexandria, we're not just fighting to protect Hilltop, we're not just fighting against another group like the Saviors. They're now fighting for their very homes. They're going to have to fight, but at the same time, the revolution has started because of our people within the Commonwealth. So you got these two war fronts that are going to be the centerpieces of part 3 of season 11. Very interesting way to do it, because the Commonwealth storyline in the comic book really kind of ended more politically. Rick, for the spoilers for the comic books, but Rick basically, the same thing kind of happened. They exposed Pamela Milton and the corruption in the Commonwealth. And that's when we got Rick's famous line from the comics where he said, "We are not the Walking Dead, and we can build to the future." Sebastian kills Rick in cold blood in the middle of the night. Rick dies. They have a statue to him, and then we time jump in the future where we get to see Carl and what happens with everybody else is kind of this epilogue. I might at some point in time do a review of the finale of the comic book and compare it to what they've been doing on the show at some point in the future. But the way this all ends leads me to believe that there's going to be this big war for the communities, and I'm almost guessing now that Rick is going to show up with this CRT or whatever the group is on the other shows that I don't watch. I know about it, but I don't watch Fear the Walking Dead or World Beyond, any of that stuff. I'm suspecting, though, that Rick is going to show up with the cavalry and help save all the communities. That's my early guess as to what we're going to see. Because as we all know, Andrew Lincoln was in town. They just wrapped up shooting the final episode of The Walking Dead just a couple days ago at the time of this recording. So we don't know when part 3 of season 11 is coming out specifically, but we expect to get a answer on that and an announcement pretty soon over the next couple of weeks, sometime in April. But I want to know what you guys thought about this. I think part 2 of season 11 was way better than part 1 of season. It's not even close. This is way better than part 1 of season 11, and I'm really excited now to see what the third act is going to be and how they're going to wrap all of this up and how they're going to wrap up The Walking Dead. Are we going to get a whole episode where we get just them tying up loose ends? I would like to see that as the final episode before they do all these other spin-off shows, but we'll have to see on this. I want to know what you guys think. Again, let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Until then, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, and the notification bell, and I would appreciate it if you share this video on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, wherever you talk about The Walking Dead and TV shows. I'll see you guys again. Probably do some other like side Walking Dead videos. I am going to start reviewing the Marvel Moon Knight show that's on Disney Plus right now, and probably do some other stuff with the entertainment channel. I'm still kind of working through and thinking about what we're doing with this channel. But until then, I'll see you guys. Be safe and have a good day.